Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward. Today's no different. Today, I'm going to be speaking a pivotal word to you all about leadership. And I'm going to be using the story of King David as an example to this. I know many of us have heard the story of King David and his walk with King Saul and the integral level of character that David exuded upon his walk with King Saul. And I know that many of us have heard the story of David overcoming the giants of his life and the monsters of his life, the Goliaths. But what we don't really focus our attention on is the framework of what led David to such monumental successes. And that's what I want to focus on today. You know, many of you in corporate environments we're all at the end of the quarter, we're at the end of the year. And, you know, many of you are looking to move within organizations, whether to grow in new positions. Maybe you want to transfer into management. Maybe there's someone in management looking to bring someone that's not been in management on, or you are in leadership and you're looking to outsource. You're looking to recruit talent outside of the organization and bring them on. And those people could have management experience, or they could be people that have done well in their roles as independent contributors. And because of those successes, you have the strength and the wherewithal within yourself to take a chance on those people and bridge them over into leadership. This podcast is directed to all of those people. I myself have had a tremendous experience in corporate America. Don't want to make it seem like I'm some super corporate America hero. I am not. But I've had some pivotal experiences because I've seen some of the ways of corporate America, and I've stood at the sidelines and waited for my opportunities to come, and they just never came. And I've been bold enough to kind of like step in and take control of the situation, or so I thought, and put myself in environments because I was capable. And in doing so, I have some tremendous levels of experiences, good and bad, that I can speak to. And I look to transfer that knowledge into this podcast episode so that someone can benefit from it. Using David as an example, surely David did phenomenal with his walk with King and holding himself at a particular criteria while being hunted by King Saul. Surely he did monumentally well while facing the giant of his life, Goliath, the giant of his entire culture's life, this monumental giant that everybody was afraid of. David steps forth and annihilates. But what led him to do such things? You see, it's the part that nobody talks about. It's the stuff that nobody brings forward that makes or breaks you in this life. Even myself, the things that I go through that I don't communicate to you are the things that make me. It's the symphony of experiences that go on in the darkness, behind the camera, that I don't blog about, or that I don't create memes and really go directly into detail about, that forge the new me. Every day there's a new aspect of myself being forged because of the experiences that I wrestle with. This is also David. David would come into the knowing of himself by way of his experiences with the people around him. You see, David was born from a very modest family. His father did not have a lot of money. His father wasn't rich like Abraham. Father wasn't, known and prominent like Jacob. Jesse was not a rich man. Jesse and his sons lived a very modest life. So David is from a regular family. And the family dynamic is non-supportive of David. He doesn't have, oh, my loving son David. He doesn't have the support from his parents nor his brothers. Anything that he wants to do, he's not encouraged to do. In fact, he's talked down about doing it. We see this when David goes to give his brothers the food while they're sitting there letting Goliath taunt them. They're wondering, well, why are you here? What are you doing here? He's not even wanted at the most pivotal time in their culture. You would have thought all hands would be on deck. They would have taken help from anybody. But David shows up with food and drink, refreshments. And they're naysaying him and they're talking down to him. He's not even welcome in the most inopportune times. Because his brothers didn't just get to that mind state the day that David showed up and Goliath was running around. That was the normal stasis that David lived in. That was the mindset of his family towards him. And instead of David seeing himself unworthy and a reject, he pivots, he changes his focus, and he denies the energy of that negation. And he converts it and allows himself to focus on what he loves, his slingshot, and dealing with his sheep. This slingshot and these sheep would be the two aspects that would garner David his success, that would make him, that would put him on the map. That slingshot and those sheep. You see, David comes from a family, I said, when we read scripture, no one believed in David. No one wanted him around. He was openly rejected, criticized. When Samuel came to anoint the house, his own father, didn't even include him on a fundamental anointing. He wasn't even seen worthy to be anointed. And you would wonder, well, what characteristic could David have shown to not have fundamental levels of faith on him? This is the man's father. You mean you don't want your son to be anointed? You got the high priest of Israel in your house. And you would think you would bring everybody up in there to be anointed, because him being anointed means you being anointed, and whichever one of the sons caught the blessing, it would benefit Jesse. But this is what happens in life. I need you to know this. All of you Davids out there, the rejection is not because you are inadequate. The rejection is because they see that you are adequate. You are more than adequate. And if you ever get your foot on solid ground, it's going to be a whole nother situation. You are adequate in the most inopportune circumstances. You are adequate up against things that people would unalive themselves if they were in. You are adequate. And they see it. This is David, and this is some of you. The rejection is not because you are not adequate. The rejection is because they are more than likely adequate as it relates to contending with you. So then when someone like David shows up to a fight that they have been sitting in front of for days on end, these people were at the valley for the longest dealing with Goliath. They had more than enough time to overtake Goliath. They had more than enough time to come amongst one another and for somebody to figure out who is going to do what. They had no clue. No man from the house came forward. Not one. And you mean to tell me David shows up by happenstance? His father says, they've been down there a long time. Take this cheese and take all this stuff down there. I know they got to be hungry. They had been down there a tremendous amount of time. And David goes, the man that they never even included, never thought worthy to even see the situation. What harm would it have been to have him just there looking like everybody else? David didn't decide to go on his own. He was happy with his sheep. He goes and he shows them, gives them this food. And the first thing they say is, what are you doing here? Why are you here? You would have thought that they would have been more focused on dealing with Goliath than to try to reject him. Because they knew. Oh, here he comes. He's the last one we want to see. We're not able to overcome this thing, but I know he probably can. But we don't want him to know that we know he probably can. That's what it was. You see, what made David great was the hate. All the little instances of hate along the way. All the backhanded insults, all of the wickedness. David did the work that everybody else in the house didn't want to do. David was given it. And he did it. But while he was doing the work that nobody else wanted to do, he was able to hone in on doing the things that he loved. He loved his slingshot. He loved his animals. They didn't judge him. They needed him. They would follow him. They trusted him. And David loved them. This is why David would rather be with the sheep than to go down and deal with what's going on in the valley. Let them handle it. They know everything. They got all the ideas and all the right stuff. Let them handle it. I don't care. I'm doing what I love. I'm over here with my dog and my sheep. I love these things. And they love me back. And with these things that I have around me, I can focus on what I love to do. I can use my slingshot. I can perfect my craft with my slingshot. And directing what area they move in. I love these animals so much that if a lion or a bear or any other animal comes and encroaches upon them, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight, friend. It's going to be a fight. And I'm going to fight effectively. Why? Because I love these sheep. And we don't have a lot of them. And they're already negating me. Everybody in my father's house, everything I do is micromanaged and criticized and critiqued. So they're just waiting for the day that I come and say, we lost a sheep, and we already don't have many. They're waiting on me to come and say that I wasn't able to effectively do this job well. So I'm going to effectively do this. My name is on this. I'm emotionally intertwined with this. I love this. This is my domain. And I'm not going to let anything come and take not one of these that are under my domain, because I love them. So when the lion and the bear comes, David will wrestle hand and foot it out of the mouth of it and save it alive. All of which, these are characteristics in a person that are highly, highly viable. You don't get this with everybody, friend. You don't get this with comfort. You don't get it with comfort. You get this in them alone seasons. You get this from, I don't care who's with me. I'm with me, and God is with me. And those that are with me, I adore. You come from one that is with me, you coming for me. And I have the power in me, vested by God, to annihilate anything that comes upon me or that I love. This is David. This is the Spirit. This is what rejection will do for you. So David, having uncovered all of these attributes of himself by way of what the people think they are doing to control him or to lessen him, magnify him. But they have no idea. They will not see it until it needs to show itself. And it shows itself at times that pull from something that he loves. When David goes down and he sees what's happening amongst Goliath and the people, he's saying, you mean to tell me none of y'all can deal with this? This is what you all are dealing with? None of you have any courage. All of you that think you're so smart and you're so great and you're afraid of this. And then you want to tell me I'm not worthy. And you can't even overcome this. And you don't want to welcome me to this event that has you captive. You are captives. You are shaking in your boots at this giant. He's taunting you. He knows you are afraid. He doesn't respect you. He will treat you any kind of way, and you will beg him to go away, and you'll do anything he tells you just so he goes away. And you don't want me to come and be amongst you? And this is what you're dealing with? David said, relax yourself, friend. I got this. He goes to Saul and says, I got this. I can do this. I mean, is what I'm seeing all that you're dealing with? I mean, I'm hoping I'm seeing it's more to this, but are you sure that this is it? I know this is what David is saying in his mind. This is it? And Saul is like, yeah. And Saul says, you're too young. You don't know how to deal with this. You don't have enough experience. And David is looking at him like, all of you are older. And you can't even deal with this. You're trying to make it seem like you're doing me a favor? Follow me here. You're doing me a favor. And you are all captive slaves. Y'all are some glorified slaves. And you get off on rejecting me. I see why you get off on rejecting me. Because you feel rejected. You are enslaved. And the only way you can feel better about yourself is by looking to minimize someone else. David said, friend, I know I'm young, but I've wrestled with lions and bears. I done been through all kind of stuff, friend. I just don't look like it. I have wrestled with lions and bears, and I have saved animals alive from these beasts. Do you know what it's like to wrestle with a lion and a bear? Now, listen. A bear only hunts certain times of the year. Okay? So a bear hibernates for a long period of time. And then it comes out and it's hungry. And when it's hungry, friend, you don't want to see a bear. A bear? Google it. A bear is worse than a lion if it get on you. A bear is a tremendous adversary. David wrestled with it to save an animal that he loved. An animal he loved so much because he was rejected and he didn't feel connected to the people. He felt connected to his animals. They were his love. They were his friends. They were his support system. And before I let you devour my animal, you're going to have to see me. This is David. And then a lion. Female lions hunt, friend. That lion with all the mane and the hair, that's the male lion. He's laid up, laid back, relaxed. It's the female lion you don't want to see. That's the athletic one. That's the one, if she get on you, it's a bad day. David is wrestling with the female lion for food. These are beyond integral things. This is a level of courage that I don't know people know much about it. You got to be in it to understand it. God doesn't choose weaklings. When we read this Bible, I believe we need to read this Bible with another level of integrity and another level of respect. Integrity to the people in it and respect for those written within the pages of it. All of these are champions. These are alphas. The top of their field. When you're looking at David, you're looking at an alpha. But he doesn't walk around, I'm an alpha. He doesn't do that. That's not what they do. You only know it when it's crunch time. And God does not put his weight or his word or his emphasis or his name on somebody that he knows will fail him. David was proven by the small wins before he ever came upon Goliath. Goliath was nothing. But nobody would know it. David didn't go back and say, yeah, I defeated a lion, I defeated a bear. Oh yeah, you know how hard it is for me to deal with your rejection? You know how hard, I love my animals and I love my animals because you reject. He doesn't speak it. He just deals with it. And it takes the level of those that are viewing him, his brethren, and those that are doing the rejection. It takes them to be at a certain mental level to be able to understand and to recognize him for who he is. But they're not at that level. So they don't recognize it. They don't know nothing about it. They don't know nothing about it at all. But they sense it. And this is why they don't want him around at monumental situations. Because he will outshine is not even the word, friend. He will do like Sonia Bonalie on him. A triple backflip, triple quartz, whatever you call the thing that she did. Just show out. But they don't ever want him to get there. And he doesn't care. He's not vested in, I just can't wait to get to the point in my life where I can show them. He doesn't care to show them. Because he knows that those points of interest that come and that bring that type of oil out of him are hard. It's hard. It's hard, friend. So, all these things lead to a particular type of character forged in David. And this is what I want to give you as far as leadership. This type of character is forged through experiences, deep experiences. None of David's experiences were surface level. He had consecutive, deep, soul-searching experiences that built upon one another, so that they fine-tuned him into the man that he became. He was constantly becoming. And then you get to a point where all the nonsense wipes away. All your enemies go away. They do themselves in, all of them. Do themselves in. And you transition from execution to strategy. David would get to a place in his walk where he would transition from execution to strategy. All the years of defeating Goliath and walking away from all of Saul's disintegrous behaviors and warring with the Philistines and then trying to partner with them and then dealing with the Ziklag situation. All of these executionary stances never would go away fully, but he would transition from going from primarily and only execution to strategy. Systems and directives. How does that work? After all of David's enemies would be gone and there would be peace, because that's the only way you go from execution to such things. There's some peace and stability. And you are able to reflect. And you are able to now use the base of people that have been privy to your walk. People that see you, whether in management, in an organization, they see your words of encouragement. They see how you lead them. They've seen you. Maybe they've seen you while you were as a one of them, and then now you have been promoted. They know your story, and even if they don't know your story, they see your level of leadership. Because that's the thing with leadership. It's a heartfelt thing. It's a magnet that people are drawn to because of relatability. You're relatable. Whether they know your story or not, whether they know your experiences or not, where you are now, if you can effectively take some time and look back on your walk and then be able to bring those in, multiply yourself amongst them. That character, that level of direction based in honesty and integrity is like a magnet. When we see the 400 men come upon David while he's being hunted by Saul, David does not have the opportunity to pick and choose which of these people he will accept and he won't. That's just like many of you leaders hiring a sales team. Just imagine yourselves just having to take whatever you get. No interview, nothing. Don't know where they've been, don't know what they've done. They're just head count. You got 400 people. But one thing you do know And one thing David will know about these 400 that will come to him is that they were courageous. Because at this time, when these 400 men come upon David, it's not fashionable to do so. It's like the worst thing you can do. Because King Saul has put a word out that anybody that will partner with him, he will make captains over hundreds. Not over 50 and 25, but over hundreds. He will give them land. He will give them wealth and jobs. So the people that are coming amongst David are going against this. They're the people that say, I don't care what you give me. I stand on character. I stand for this. And I know it's going to put a bullseye on my back too. But I'm willing to put a bullseye on my back because it's the right thing to do. These are the 400 that come to David. So without having to interview and to pick, God does it. God creates the line. He makes a demarcation point, and he makes it very apparent. Saul has money. Saul is the king of Israel. He has resources and he has power. If you align with Saul, you're going to be comfortable. If you align with David, you're going to be uncomfortable, but you're going to stand for something righteous. So these 400 that come to David stood for something righteous. And that was the criteria in itself. That's all he needed. And from that, he could build upon, he could imbue all of the experiences and the techniques that got him to that space. And they would accept it because of the commonality, the relatability factor. Relatability is huge. I tell people all the time, I've been in trucking and in logistics and in sales in general. When I would call upon clients, it wasn't that I had the best product or I had the cheapest product or I had, all these friends and I knew all these people and I'm name dropping and all this kind of stuff. It was the commonality. People did business with me because they liked me. They had the freight. They needed somebody that they can trust, that can honor their end of the bargain and not make their life more difficult. Are you dependable even though you charge more? Are you someone that can fix a last minute situation? Are you somebody that is professional? Will you make me look better? Are you trustworthy? All these things. Money doesn't have anything to do with it. It's those factors will allow you to have a higher price point and still get the majority of the business. This is what David is dealing with. So while on the run from Saul, all these things God would allow David to experience before he would crown him king. David would not be able to transition over into dealing with systems and strategies and directives until he will become king. How? How could he have? Systems? David is on the run. He don't know what's coming the next minute. You cannot deploy a system in David's world while he was being hunted by Saul. It would have to come after all of those people did themselves in. And then David could sit in his house of cedar with his priest. He could say, look at what God has done. Now he can be counseled by people that know systems better than him. David was not a system man. He's not a directive man. I mean, he was in a sense in dealing with the man that he had while on the run, but from the big scheme of things, he's not. David is a warrior. And he would learn the directives. What directives we need to go into when waging war with this country and when waging war with that country, because David had waged war with the Philistines and everybody else on his own and with men. He would know exactly what to do. He would have strategies. He would be able to build strategies and then couple what he would know with other people, because he created strategies for himself, all the while being hunted. But nobody would think that David had a strategy while he was being hunted. It would look ridiculous. It would look messy, because it was very messy. But that's how it is when you're being hunted. And that's my word to many of you out here that are looking to bring leaders on. My word to you in bringing leaders on is that, are you a David? Do you have strategy? Do you know how to execute? Has all of your experiences that you've had thus far, do they serve you? Literally. When I say serve you, I mean, are you able to hold your own as a leader? And not just do the minimal thing, but do the monumental thing as a leader. And multiplying yourself amongst those you lead. So that you, like David, hire mighty men. They come in as mighty men. But after dealing with you, they are now mighty men of valor. Those are the people. These are the people that don't mind taking a chance on someone that may not have the same type of experience. Because that's what happens in leadership a lot. And this is what I'm going to speak to in another episode. What I found in transitioning into leadership was that nobody would want to take a chance on me in transitioning me into leadership. My numbers were great. I did great in my own role, and I was able to help others that would speak highly of me to do well in their roles. But there was no one that said, you know what, I'm going to take this person from a rep to management. Everybody wanted somebody that had management experience because nobody wanted the responsibility. They didn't want to take the chance. They didn't want to have that on their roster that, you know, you're the one that brought this person in and they failed. They saw it as that instead of seeing it as this person is not going to fail. Not on my watch. There's no way he's going to fail. I'll make sure he is able or she is able to do this job. Because first of all, I'm going to vet them. I'm going to make sure I hire the right person. Why? How can I make sure of this? Because I know what it takes. You cannot fool me. And if you do, you're out of here quickly. I'm going to know. These are the things. But, you know, a lot of times in leadership, you don't have people that are grounded in that way. And so a lot of organizations miss out on very, very good talent because of the leaders that they hire. You got to be courageous to be a leader, friend. It takes courage. That's one of the first characteristics. You got to be courageous. If you're scary, it's not for you. Because it's fundamentally, it takes courage to do it. Because a lot of times you're leading people into areas of the unknown. You don't even know where you're going. But you know you have within you everything it takes to navigate those seas and to overcome whatever comes your way. And you know you have within you everything it takes to motivate those around you. You have chosen people around you that can do the same thing. And then also for those that are looking to move around in organizations in this season, it's very imperative that you align to a leader that has levels of character that you yourself have, or greater, definitely greater. And if you don't find that in those people, that you stand in that, regardless to how uncomfortable it'll make someone else feel, that you continuously stand in that. And in doing your tasks, whether tasks that you like to do or tasks that you don't like to do, that you do them both with the same level of character. Make it your mantra. It's your default setting. I'm going to get this done. Even if I don't like to do it, I'm going to do it at the same level of character, at the same level of quality as I would do something that I love to do. This is very important. This is my word for you today. Last point of interest. David would transition from going into an execution state to where he's constantly executing and moving and strategizing and all these different things, to creating systems amongst other people. But it would take for him to transition out of the hunting phase. He would have to transition out of the hunting phase to be able to do such things. Yet, this would be an easy transition. The hardest part is the execution. That's where everything is built in. The execution phase is the hardest phase, friend. Having the courage and being able to depend on your own knowing and to navigate your walk and to hold yourself at a certain level of character, even when it's easier to do the unworthy thing. To being able to control yourself and then to keep going when it doesn't even look favorable, when it doesn't even look like it's something you want to do. To keep going at a certain level of excellence that you would require at your best, or that you would require in doing what you truly love to do. The execution phase is the hardest. Yet once you graduate from that, and this is how God set it up for David, the execution and the strategy, delivery, all of that, that is what David was immersed in. Many of you are. I know I am. All of this is execution, strategy, delivery. Yet, David would get to a place where he would have stability. And in stability, he would be able to depend on systems. His world was too chaotic for systems. While unstable. It's what system? Outside of rising and falling, getting up and laying down, and moving around. There was no system. There was no predetermined set of directions that David would go in each day. He could not do that. He couldn't forecast out months in advance, or he couldn't do any of that. While in the execution stage, it would take for him to come to a place of being able to find some stability. And then he would be able to create systems. And in him creating systems, he would do a monumental thing, friend. Look at all that he did. The temple of, even though he didn't build it, he set the groundwork for it. And he would have built it, but God said no. He laid the foundation for all of it. The Temple of Jerusalem, the City of Zion, the Temple of David. The relations with Hiram that would lead to relationships with Ethiopia. Being set up as a powerful nation. The systems came last, friend. Get the execution. Get the wherewithal to keep going. Get the courage. Get the integrity. Get strategy. Even if it's incremental steps of strategy. Get that. And then after you get that, God will bless you with stable time and vessels in the form of people that will help you create the systems. You love more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourself and be good to one another. Peace and love. Discipline is created through locking in and staying focused. Absolutely, it is. Discipline is definitely created in locking in and staying focused. And those with the spirit of David know such things. You got to. You got to lock in and stay focused. All is well. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Peace and love.